Hello and welcome to OVERDRIVE. This is Rohit Paradkar. Welcome to the OVERDRIVE digital show, where you come in for all the automotive happenings of the week and stay for the conversation. That's exactly what we are going to do today as well. So the comment section is now open, so you can start gathering your thoughts. You can post whatever questions you have about the automotive happenings of the week and all the stories that we're going to show you today. As you may have noticed already, Sohini is not here, and that's because she's suffering from the first world problems, that of a very bad internet connection, and that is why she couldn't make it to the digital show. So I'm going to try and fill into her shoes. But earlier this week, Bertrand D'Souza was filling into his previous shoes, the time when he used to enjoy the C63 AMG a lot. And this time around, he had the C63 AMG Coupé with him to play around with, and he absolutely was elated driving that car. In fact, we are going to have Bert on the show very soon. But before that, let's take a close look at what the C63 Coupe was all about and how he had a very good time with that car before the review goes online very soon. Take a look.
Such a grand location and such a wonderful day. And what amazing roads. These are some of the finest roads that I've ever driven on. And today is all the more special because I get to drive one of my favorite cars in the world. A car that I've clearly had a bias about for well over a decade. And the car that I'm driving is this, the C63 AMG. I found some fantastic roads out here close to home, which is Bombay, and the C63 allows me to do a whole host of things. So while the first C63 that I drove, fantastic for straight line speeds, not too bad in the corners, this car is a whole new beast. AMG have taken it to a whole new level. What's interesting is that this is now more of a sports car than a muscle car. Mercedes-Benz offers the C63 in standard version in India. Now this car comes with a 4-litre V8 with a twin-turbo system. Now this engine, of course, like all other AMGs, is hand-built by one single person at their factory in a Falterbach. Now this V8, the bi-turbo, is a hot and V, which means the turbochargers sit in between the banks of cylinders. So in between those 8 cylinders, there are 2 turbochargers, one feeding each bank of cylinders, and it makes a phenomenal amount of power. This is 476 horsepower with 650 Newton meters of torque. It's just ridiculous. This thing is fast, and how 0 to 100 Mercedes-Benz claims 4.6 seconds, but on our tests we got 5.6, and that's only because it was a wet, rainy day. The surface conditions were just not right. This C63 is miles ahead of what the C63 used to be. Faster, quicker, far more precise, sharper, agile, you name it. This car is just It's a thrill a second. Woohoo! Got some air there. What a fantastic motor. This V8 is an absolute delight.
Well, so that was Bert driving the C63 Coupe earlier this week while I was spending time with another Mercedes, and we'll talk about it at the end of the show. But let's have Bert online now. I'm very, very, very jealous of Bert right now for having gotten this chance to drive the C63 Coupe. The current generation C-Class best car I could drive was a C43. But yeah, look at that smile. I mean, he is unable to wipe off that smile even after a week of driving the car. But C63 has a very special place in your heart, and now you have the new one that you drove. Tell us something about it.
Absolutely. And you know what, Rohit, I'm trying and figuring out ways and means to get that car back again. on a test and doing something into that as well. Hopefully, you'll get your hands on it. If you're a good boy this week, you'll probably get your hands on it as well.
I shall play my cards right.
Absolutely, you better play your cards right. But having said that, I mean the C63, yeah, it holds a very, very fond place in my, it retains a fond place in my heart because it was one of those earliest performance cars that I drove well over a decade ago. The first generation C63 for that matter, and it was astounding then. It has continued to astound me down the years. It is simply an amazing car. I loved it once upon a time for that sheer muscle power that it carried. Having said that, I mean it was the quintessential German muscle car, and it was just brilliant in that sense. But it was great at straight lines, not so much at corners. Now it's so much more, how would I say it, rounded, well rounded off. The entire package has become so much more diverse, so much more accomplished. It's so much more capable than what it used to be, and I think that's a very exciting thing to have. In a way, there's a lovely progression that Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-AMG is offering in India, starting off with the sports car range, also in a way with the C63, and then moving on to the rest of the AMG cars that they've got, the sedans and the sports cars that they've got. So there's some wonderful stories that you can expect in the future from us over there. There I've kind of let out of the bag also what we're doing, but yeah, let's just wait. Actually, let me not spoil the surprise.
Right. And what do you think about the coupe styling, though? I think that really works well for the car because,
It
I mean, the
does.
C63 has always been a performance icon, but you've also come across people who buy the car purely because it's an AMG and, they don't really care so much about the performance. But we have heard of people who have not bought the C63 just because it looked like a C-class sedan. But now the coupe also fixes that part of it and, attracts that part of the audience or that part of the consumers as well who want to buy the car purely for the looks. They may not exploit the power, the engine, but they want to buy the car for what it looks like. And I think the coupe again scores high on in that regard as well.
Absolutely, I do agree with you on some bits over there. But having said that, let me say that yeah, the coupe styling is fantastic, makes it very attractive. I've had dozens of people who've come up and taken photographs, requested to sit inside the car, shoot pictures with it, and this has been across all sorts of how would I say, all kinds of people who've come across, whether it was those villagers that I drove through those regions that I drove, the villagers over there who came up and took shots with the car, whether it was in the city as well, people from their cars poking their heads out and trying to get a photograph, or whether it was the kids who came up to the car as well, and uncle, can I sit in the car? And like, please don't call me uncle, but but it kind of that body style, the coupe body style, definitely has a lot of appeal. I can see where it comes from as well. And let's not forget that graphite paint shade, the graphite gray that it comes in, stunning color. Very few cars that people see on the roads in that matte
Right.
finished paint scheme, and that is absolutely gorgeous. Having said that, I'm still not so much of a fan of the coupe styling. It used to be a muscle car. I love the muscle car, and I love the muscle car feel that the previous generation, or rather the roads, the sedans still offer. Not so much in this current generation as the first generation that I drove. Brawny, muscular, it just meant business. It was an aggressive looking car. It sounded aggressive. The current generation, even the C63 Coupe that I drove, even that sounds very, very aggressive. You open up those baffles, you press that button, open up the baffles on the exhaust, on the sports exhaust system, and the car just raises its exhaust note to a whole new level. I mean, this is Odin, the father of Thor, talking, through those megaphones. This is God of another level. So yeah, I've had a brilliant time. I've enjoyed myself thoroughly. I'm trying to again convince Mercedes-Benz to give the car back for some time to us, and we'll have something over there as well.
Right. In fact, I'm looking forward to that as well. And I'm going to cut you short here because if I don't, you're going to keep talking about the C63. That's what you've been
I
doing
can
for
go
the
on.
last week or so.
By the way, the review will be online tomorrow, so you can catch that entire
Yes.
story out there, read through that, see what my opinion is about the car. Definitely go to overdrive.in and see that entire story. In addition, there's also the next stories that you've got up as well. Quite a few bits of content coming up over there now that cars are more accessible to us.
Right. So with that, I'm going to dive in directly into the news. So the biggest news that broke out this week, well, let's not say it broke out, but we got a teaser of the new Kia Sonet that is coming up. We have already seen the car in its concept form at the Auto Expo, and it will be revealed in its production glory on the 7th of August. But as is expected, Kia has started a drip feed of information on the vehicle, and that includes teaser images as well. They had put out one image earlier in the jungle with the tiger nose sticking out, and then they released this sketch. Just to quickly refresh your memory about what the Kia Sonet was, let me quickly show you the walk around video that we did from the Auto Expo. Again, to remind you, this is the concept version that we'll be showing you right now. But the production version is going to look very similar to this. That is confirmed from the sketches that Kia has just put out. So let's quickly take a look at the walk around video. And like I said, the Sonet will be out on the 7th of August. It will be revealed in its production glory, and they should open bookings right after.
I think this is probably the most awaited compact crossover that you see behind me. This is Kia's version of the sub 4-meter SUV based on the Venue platform. They are calling it the Sonet concept. That could be the name that could be carried forward. We have sharper design for the headlamps, not the same DRLs in the brow and headlamp in the bumper kind of configuration as the Venue. This one is different. The headlamps are in their conventional place, two-pot design, close into the grille. That signature tiger nose is there on this car, and the detailing of the daytime running lights is how it will be for the production model as well. I also like the kind of treatment that they managed on the C-pillar. It looks quite nice, looks very sophisticated for the segment that it is going to dwell in. And the way it has been designed, the kind of balance that this car has, despite its 4-meter dimensions, is something that I really like. The tail has that seamless connection between the two tail lights. Looks quite nice. That will be carried forward. Illuminated Kia logo, not so much, but this is the kind of detailing that you will be able to see on the car. Even the rear bumper, if you see, it looks very similar to what we saw on the Seltos in terms of the treatment. And this is a side profile. Now it's based on the Venue. It is a sub 4-meter compact SUV, but it looks so much more muscular than its Hyundai sibling. And I think that is going to be one of its strongest points when the car goes on sale. So the detailing of the grille is also something that I like, and I'm sure will come to the production model as well. Look at the complexity on that. Of course, it will not be as complex, but I am hoping to see these kind of red accents on the GT line, even in the grille. Those are not reflections of light, those are actual red accents within the grille, and I think it looks quite nice. Even the mirrors, they have a slim, sleek profile, and that sort of highlights the muscular stance of the rest of the bodywork much better. The mirrors don't take away from it in any way, and that's something that I really like. You also have chunky roof rails on top, and there is an all-black roof that I can see on the concept. So this is what the Sonet is all about.
Right, so that was the quick walk around of the Sonet. Like I said, the production version will be very similar to this, and in terms of the powertrains, it will be very similar to the Hyundai Venue. In fact, it's also going to get the IMT, the intelligent manual transmission that Hyundai was talking about with the Venue earlier this week as well. So that is essentially a manual transmission without the clutch pedal, without the need to have those pressing the clutch pedal every now and then in city traffic. So I think it's going to be very convenient. In fact, Hyundai even launched the Venue IMT earlier this week. The pricing that was announced for it was 9.99 lakh rupees for the starting trim. They've also announced an interesting sport pack with the Hyundai Venue now. So on the 1.0, you could also specify the car with a sport pack, which gives you a few colorful accents here and there, a slightly sportier styling, a little bit of accents in the grille and on the wheel arches. I think it looks quite nice. So definitely do check it out. But yeah, that's the news that we have from the Kia and the Hyundai stable right now. Now, before we proceed with the news, let's quickly take a few questions that have come in on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to quickly just dive into those questions. Right. So I believe they have one question that is about the new Fortuner. When is the new Fortuner expected in the Indian market? Okay, there's someone asking us about the IMT. I'm sorry, there is a question on the screen. So let's first answer that. Could I have the question again, please, on the screen?
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Right. This
This
is a
question
new
comes from Rajesh
technology, and
Satais. Hello, Team
yeah.
OVERDRIVE. Hi, Rajesh. I would like to hear something about the IMT. Yeah. Your views, please. Okay, so I had an opinion on the IMT, Rohit. I thought I should share it over here, and that essentially is IMT is kind of this midway point between an automated manual transmission and a manual transmission, because you still got to engage gears like you would in a manual transmission, but you do not have a clutch. And I believe this will be a challenge for a lot of people to get over the sensation of not having a clutch but still having to change gears. uh, in a sense, it also complicates the driving experience, because you now have to figure out, or rather, you have to learn to stop using your left foot entirely, but you still have to keep in mind that you have to change gears. So you cannot expect the system to do this for you automatically, like in the AMTs, in the automated manual transmission systems. So this is going to be something that's a bit of a challenge. People are going to have to learn how to drive in a completely new style. This is what I believe will be a bit of a, there's going to be a learning curve in this respect.
Right. I completely agree with you, Bert. So I had a very early taste of this technology with a demo Swift. It was by an ancillary manufacturer who had prepared a Swift with a similar technology with no clutch pedal. And I completely understand what you're saying. It's very hard to get used to that the whole idea of just resting your left foot and then also having to shift gears. And there is no override of any kind that if you don't shift, it will automatically shift, because that is what you expect after driving cars like the AMTs and automatics. So just a quick reminder to everyone, IMT is not an automatic. It is still a manual transmission, but without the clutch pedal. And only once we drive it now with the new Venue or the Sonnet will we be able to give you a clearer idea of
I
does
had
it really work that well or not.
I have a question for you, Rohit, since you have driven this also, and what I'd like to know is, if you're in fourth gear or fifth gear, for instance, and you run out of revs, uh, what are the chances of the engine stalling and not being able to? How do you manage to do that? Is your engine going to stall? Will it actuate the clutch and override the engine? What is going to happen? What is going to happen in those situations?
Right. So this is something that we experienced with the Swift, where the moment it would start dropping revs, it would start using the clutch in a way, like you would in a regular car. But yeah, it prompts you to also downshift. At least in that prototype, it also prompted you to downshift far earlier before the revs would reach at a level where the engine would start knocking. So that was like a reminder to sort of make you downshift. Now, I don't know how Hyundai is employing this. That is something that even I'm interested in seeing. But this is what I saw on the prototype, where it would prompt you to downshift a little before the revs would go down to a level where the engine would start feeling strained.
I would assume that somewhere down the line, this would also mean there would be a warning buzzer or something of that sort added to the car to prompt you to kind of
Exactly. That's
downshift
exactly
or
what the
upshift, or
Swift
do
prototype had.
something.
Exactly. It was a loud buzzer to tell you, and that sort of
Could mean an
got a little
additional.
annoying. Especially if you are used to driving
Yes.
at lower revs to get better fuel economy and all of that. The buzzer sometimes keeps beeping a lot earlier than you would expect it to, and that sort of keeps getting, it's annoying to say the least. So I'm very interested in seeing how Hyundai and Kia are, they're going to address this situation.
Well, let's wait for that. Let's wait for that.
Right. So the next question is
We
about the
got Devi
Fortuner.
Prasad.
Yes, Devi Prasad Biswal is asking us about the new Fortuner. I think he's referring to the Fortuner facelift that was revealed last month, I'm sorry. And when we recently spoke to Toyota, we did ask them about the new Fortuner. And of course, the facelift is certainly on the cards for India as well. But the Lexus-inspired design that you saw on the Fortuner Legender, that is also being considered for the Indian market. So that's a small scoop for all of our viewers here, that the Legender is also being considered. In fact, I am told that customer clinics are already underway, where they are exploring what the customer feedback is about the Legender and its design. So that is being explored for the Indian market, and if there is enough demand, then we could very well see the Legender come to the Indian market as well, and that could cost anywhere upward of 50 lakh rupees on road, is what I feel, given the current pricing strategy for the Fortuner.
Interesting. We've got Dynamic 1182 asking, are we expecting Tata Harrier to come in 4x4 and all disc brakes? There's been no information on any upgrades to the Tata Harrier at this point in time. Dynamic, no, nothing in terms of 4x4. Neither will the all disc brake version come out anytime soon. We're still waiting for a lot more information. Some of the other products that are there, essentially the Gravitas is what we're waiting for. I think that is also around the corner. This should be just about a couple of months away. Am I right, Rohit?
You're absolutely right. In fact, when we spoke to Tata during the first drives that we did for the Harrier, it's clear that with the Land Rover underpinnings, the platform allows for 4-disc brakes. The platform allows for all-wheel drive, not a 4x4, but an all-wheel drive system. And it is doable. If they find enough demand for this, it is doable. But Tata believes that there will be no demand for an all-wheel drive or a 4x4 version of the Harrier, given their market research, given everything that they see around them with their competitors. They don't see the need for having a 4x4. And same with the all-disc brake version. They're absolutely happy with the kind of setup that they've got right now in terms of the braking for the Harrier. It ticks all the boxes that they were expecting it to, and they don't see the need to have an additional all-disc brake version and in turn increase prices. So it doesn't. They don't need to do it, very frankly. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. Kedar Raman has got a question saying, hi team, hope you're doing well. Thank you, Kedar. We are doing well. As you can see, we've been up and about and driving some exciting cars. Any idea about the real life mileage of the Nios AMT? Also, how is it compared to the mileage of the manual version? I think we'll have some information for you on that soon, Kedar. There are some company figures that have been given out, but we still wait for our figures to come so that we can share them with you.
Right. In fact, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make use of the comment section, and I'm going to share the link of the comparison that we did between the Nios and the Swift. So it's easier for you to quickly take a look at not only the fuel economy figures, but also how the engine behaves, how the gearbox behaves. So definitely do take a look. I've just added it to the comment section on YouTube. So definitely do check out that link. You will get all answers that you need for the Nios AMT.
We've got Nitin Joshua again coming in asking, does the switching off a button near to the steering column disable ESP or disables traction control or disables both? Well, the ESP blanket still stays, but traction control can be switched off. This is only in certain cars, Nitin. Not all cars. Some of them allow you to switch off all assistance systems completely. But most cars, you can switch off traction control to one particular level alone. It will still be there in the background, and if the car senses that you're absolutely losing it, it will kick in and correct the car and ensure, or at least try to make an attempt to get you back on safe ground, or at least in a straight line again. But there is a button that you can use to switch off traction control, sometimes we literally use that button, but I'm not going to say much about that under strict guidelines.
Okay, I think I'll take this question, but it's about the Verna, not the turbo version, but the 1.5. I believe that he hasn't mentioned. Alan, do you want to mention what fuel type are you talking about, or are you just asking us about the two models overall? Because either way, the premium feel is still something that that I would go with the Verna for. The Verna still feels more premium than the Honda City. The Honda City is definitely up the game in terms of the materials, but like we mentioned in our review, the infotainment is something that I was a little bit worried about. But the overall feel-good factor of the cabin in terms of the materials, I would still side with the Verna on this one. With the ventilated seats, it just feels nice. The upholstery that they've used, all of that feels really nice. In terms of the features, again, depending on the variant that you will choose, you will have to give or take a few features. They're very closely matched in terms of the features. I would pick up the Verna again for the ventilated seats, given the hot and humid conditions of Mumbai. But in terms of driving dynamics, in terms of engine performance, and in terms of gearbox performance, I think I would still side with the Honda City, especially the petrol. The new petrol engine is fabulous. I just fell in love with that engine. And even if you were to go with the convenience of an automatic, the new CVT box is superb. The fuel economy is amazing on the petrol engine for the Honda City. So in terms of the driving dynamics and the powertrain performance, I would choose the City. But if it's the cabin, the features, and the feel-good factor of the cabin, then I would side with the Hyundai One on this one.
Future of automobiles, hydrogen or electric? Gavi Manjesh, the future is definitely hydrogen. But again, hydrogen that converts power to electricity and which is used to then power your car. So the powertrain will still be electric, but the fuel source will be hydrogen. That is the way the future is going. Work has already started on this in a big way. Various countries are already exploring the ways and means of storing and dispensing hydrogen. If I mean, to just inform you, hydrogen is a volatile fuel, and the storage of hydrogen is a critical issue. It's a critical concern with both for manufacturers, for providers, suppliers as well. And these are the challenges that they're working with right now. But I think yes, the future. This is what it is: hydrogen as a fuel source with the electric powertrains.
Right. So, Bert, I think before we take the next question, let's take a quick break and let's continue with the news wrap up, and then we'll come back to questions. But the comment section is open for all you readers and viewers out there, so definitely make use of it. Do post in your queries. Now we'll quickly move back to the news, and that is the Lamborghini Urus that we would like to talk about right now. I mean, everyone knew that Lamborghini wanted a slice of the SUV pie when they decided to make the Urus. Every car maker is going that way because the world wants crossovers and SUVs right now. But the big news is Lamborghini has clocked a record 10,000 sales for the Urus in less than 2 years of its launch. And that's a very, very big feat. In fact, this is now the most successful model for Lamborghini in its history. It's not hard to see why, like I said, the world wants SUVs and crossovers right now, and it's worked for everyone. Porsche has also shown us a similar turnaround, and now Lamborghini joins the fray as well. 10,000 units is a very big number to be proud of, and that's exactly what they've done. But the bigger news from the Lamborghini stable that I am really excited about is the new Aventador SVJ Xago. Now that Xago word, I think it's one of the easiest words to pronounce when it comes to the Lamborghini universe. But that Xago is actually the middle part of the word hexagon, hexago, or hexagonal, and that is why you will see all that hexagonal design on the exterior paintwork. You will also see similar patterns on the interior of the car. And I'm going to quickly talk about this little comment that someone made on our YouTube channel saying, on which planet is the show going to go live and at what time? Well, it's on planet Earth. It was supposed to go live at 6 o'clock. But this Lamborghini is inspired by the planet Saturn.
Yes. We were trying to get it from Saturn, but unfortunately, I mean, SpaceX hasn't started as yet. So, well, there are some challenges facing.
But interestingly, Bert, so this hexagonal pattern, Lamborghini says, is inspired by the shape of the clouds on the north pole of the planet Saturn. I don't know how Lamborghini got that and where they got that info from.
Well, I'm sure they have got images from somewhere or the other.
I'm sure. But yeah, that's a very interesting way to be inspired from, right? So that is the inspiration that you see on the exterior and the interior. And the little bit of side news to this.
My science is not great. At least my memory is not great. But if it serves me right, the hexagonal shape has also something to do with carbon or graphite, and it's an element that Lamborghini has liberally used in the past. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is some connection over there as well. And again, the Xago, the way I'm not sure how it's pronounced as yet. I'm not still able to wrap my tongue around it. Nonetheless, I do believe there are certain connections from its legacy where the Aventador also started off. Because if you remember, when the Aventador came out, all they could talk about was carbon and the usage of carbon as carbon fiber in the car. So I think that's another connect that we can find in this new car.
Right. And one side note or one side news to this is that Lamborghini's personalization program, which if I'm pronouncing it right, is called Ad Personam. Now that is also going the digital way, like a lot of other car makers. So especially for brands like Lamborghini, it's a very big deal where the customer gets to visit the factory, gets to visit this department and take a look at the different materials, touch and feel the materials, the paints, and then decide what kind of personalization they want on their vehicle. So I'm not sure how well the going digital with this is going to work for Lamborghini customers, but yeah, Lamborghini is now going to go digital with this, given the current scenario. So you will be able to, if you're a Lamborghini customer, you will be able to make an online configuration with help from Lamborghini. The Lamborghini personnel will be with you all throughout that process. And once you have sort of shortlisted your choices, they will make a 3D rendering of what your vehicle will look like. And they will send you those material choices to your doorstep for you to take a look and feel, and then finalize on the final the combinations that you want. So that I think is a very unique way to go about it, and I would love to explore how it feels and how it really pans out
Well,
like.
Rohit, you would like to explore that, but unfortunately, let me burst your bubble right here because there are just 10 of those cars, so I'm not sure how you're going to experience it. But having said that, I mean that's a fairly how do I say exclusive program that they've got running there for just those 10
Right.
cars. But at the other end, I mean, for a car that costs almost $500,000, a little more than $500,000. Well, I guess that's a tidy profit that they're going to make on that particular car, and should be able to deliver those kind of services as well. So yeah, very interesting. Lots of interesting facts and figures that you can get about cars in this realm, and I think some of these figures about the Xago is they're quite astounding.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in fact, I'm sure as we speak, all the 10 units of this car are already spoken for.
Already,
That's
already
exactly
spoken.
how it works in the supercar
There,
realm as well.
your bubbles.
I'm sure. So since we're talking supercars and sports cars, and buying a brand new one may not be as easy, especially if it's a limited edition like this. Buying a pre-owned model could actually be quite easy. Now, this is not me saying it. We are going to hear it from a person who knows the subject very well. We are talking about people from Big Boys Toys. Sohini had a chance to catch up with them earlier this week to understand how in this post-COVID world, or in the current scenario where we are talking about pre-owned vehicles being quite a successful thing for a lot of business. I mean, a lot of people who are dealing in cars and all of that. Where does pre-owned luxury or pre-owned supercar or pre-owned sports car segment stand? And that is something that she had a chat about. So let's take a quick listen at what Mr. Jatin Ahuja has to say about this.
Jatin, welcome to Overdrive. Now, the pandemic has created a havoc across various sectors, and the auto industry is no exception to this. In fact, industry experts do believe that post the COVID-19 scare, people will want to invest in personal vehicles for safe mobility. And they do believe that the shift might be towards smaller cars as well as the pre-owned car space. What is your reading of this?
Hi, thank you for the show, and it's a pleasure to be here. So, if you'll ask me about the smaller segment, so from the 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupee segment to the 15, 20 lakh rupee segment, should definitely see a boom. Why? Because of safety, concern, hygiene, all of that definitely is going to play a very big role there. And on the luxury side of the segment, if you'll ask me about the pre-owned business, definitely the consumer is going to be a little more conscious towards their buying decisions. So a conscious buying decision, pre-owned car definitely plays a very important role there, because if a car which is probably for 1 crore, you're getting it at 70 lakhs and you can save 30 lakhs just because the car is probably 4 months old, done about 2,000 kilometers, you will definitely take that kind of a conscious call. So you would look at taking more value for money decisions than taking a rush or a hush decisions, I would say. Yeah. So yes,
Right.
we would see a pre-owned car boom here going forward.
All right. And if there's something that we've noticed over the past few months is the importance of having a fully functional digital mode of business. Having said that, during the lockdown, we have noticed that many of the industry minds came together to prioritize the digital sales platform. In fact, the luxury car makers have focused on the pre-owned luxury car space as well. What is your reading of this? What do the consumers want? Do you see them shifting towards the digital sales platform over the walk-in sales?
So digital is definitely taking a big leap now, and we all have realized that digital was always a sideline preposition. Now digital has got into the mainstream, I would say. So digital is the future, and that is where we see all of us shifting to. And now during the lockdown, what we've done is we are trying to strengthen, and we have in fact strengthened our digital presence to almost a 3x kind of a level. Pre-COVID, if you'll ask me, 50% of the consumers never used to come to the showroom to buy a car. So they used to see the pictures, they used to see the videos, the walk-around video, the 360 view, and they used to close a transaction over a phone call or a video call with us. And now that 50% consumer base has shifted to almost 80% consumers now. So 80% of the consumers coming over and buying cars, I would not say coming over, but buying cars from Big Boy Toys are not coming to the showroom physically to check the quality of the product, check the car and all of that, because all of us, we understand what a Range Rover is, what an S-Class is, what a 7 Series is. Yeah. So this has definitely given us a big, huge push now. Yeah.
In today's time, what is it that you've noticed that the consumer wants from their cars? You have a wide variety of cars in terms of sports cars, supercars, luxury utility vehicles. Where have you seen the trend shift towards?
So the key growth has been SUVs and will still be SUVs. And pricing point, if you will ask me, so the 50 lakh to the 1 crore 50 lakh segment is the least hit segment. So a car which is 4 crores or 3 crores, a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, is probably hit the most. And the segment which is 50 lakh beyond, lesser than 50 lakhs, is definitely taken a beating as well. Yeah. So we are focusing more towards the 50 lakh to the 1 crore 50 lakh segment, because that consumer is healthy and strong and is very confident on the purchases as well.
All right. We've also seen a lot of traditional manufacturers come up with these interesting EMI schemes and discounts to lure in the customers right now during this lockdown period. Is that something that you are planning to do? How are you planning to attract more customers?
You know, there's a very interesting shift here which has happened. So the interesting shift is, earlier in pre-owned car segment, 85% of the cars used to be funded by banks. And 15% were cash down, means full RTGS. On full down payment, the customer would take the car. Now that shift has changed to 50% full RTGS, means full down payment and no loan.
Oh, wow.
So that is something, that's an interesting shift which no one ever expected. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck with the endeavors in the future.
Thank you.
You know, Rohit, I've got to come in over here and see this. I was just blown away the way he said, earlier they had a 50% customer base that would, look at videos, walk around videos, photographs, images, 360 views of the car, and an entire transaction for a car in the, let's assume, the range of 50 lakhs to 1.5 crore rupees, that took place without anyone actually seeing a car. It just boggles the mind. Now that's gone up to 80%. I would like to be that rich and put down my money and say, you know what, send me the Porsche home. I don't care what it looks like, what it is, just send it to me. Got good pictures, it looks clean, history is great, send it across to me. I mean, I would love to have that kind of money to throw away, honestly, in this segment.
I completely agree with you. On that. Yeah, even I was browsing the Big Boys Toys website a little while back, and the kind of deals that they have going there are simply phenomenal. I mean, it is very tempting when you look at the price of a brand new sports car or supercars in the current scheme of things, and when you look at the kind of prices they're going for right now, it is definitely very, very, very tempting. So I hope we have that kind of money to spend on these cars.
I think it's a fantastic business model in a sense, also because the potential to own one of these cars, expensive cars, is huge. You like these cars if you're an automotive enthusiast, you want to drive these cars. There are definitely some interesting cars that come through platforms like Big Boys Toys, for that matter, and it's a matter of negotiating and bargaining, trying to get the best price out of it. But rather than having to pay full fat price for some of these expensive, sporty, dynamic cars, I mean, can I get it at a steal? This is essentially where the market is heading towards also in the future. Keep in mind, because it's not just in the luxury and premium performance segments. It's also with the regular, the standard everyday commuter cars that you have. The pre-owned segment is picking up, has picked up, and will continue to pick up in a very, very big way in the future. People are already talking about buying more and more second-hand or used cars for personal mobility because of the scenario, because of the environment we find ourselves in, and this is only going to increase in the future. So yeah, there's some interesting
Right.
deals that you can definitely pick up someday. Like I said, a Porsche, second hand, third owner, fourth owner. I don't care. I'd like a Porsche
I don't care
in my
either.
garage.
I agree. Yes. Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to now move to the two-wheeler news before we start taking any further questions. The two-wheeler space, the biggest news this week was that Ducati has finally opened bookings for the Panigale V2. I remember a couple of weeks back on the OVERDRIVE show, we had quite a few questions about the Panigale V2, people asking whether the bike will come to India. Well, it's here. The bookings are opened. You can get your vehicle at a booking amount of rupees 1 lakh right now. There are some finance schemes that are also available with the Ducati dealerships. So if you are interested, definitely do check it out. It's powered by a 955cc V-twin motor, puts out about 155 PS of power, if I'm not wrong. And I'm expecting a price of between 16 to 17 lakh rupees for this motorcycle. What do you think about the pricing? Do you think it makes sense, or would you go with a four-cylinder liter class motorcycle in that that kind of a price bracket? Because slightly higher than that, you will be able to get yourself a Ninja ZX-10R, or even finance yourself a entry spec BMW S1000 RR. And if I was buying, I would probably look at one of those motorcycles. But then you can't ignore the sheer flickability, the ease of use of a middleweight motorcycle, which the Panigale V2 is. So definitely do let me know what you think about this motorcycle. Would you go with a liter class, or would you settle for something like the Panigale V2? The next news is Piaggio has launched a range of its BS6 vehicles. That's essentially the Vespa SXL, the VXL, and the Aprilia Storm. The pricing obviously is slightly on the higher side compared to the outgoing models, and this is something that we've seen as a trend across a lot of BS6 variants. And now, basically, you have new Vespas coming in with a few additional features as well, like that LED headlamp that you see on the screen right now. So if you're interested in any of these, do check out the Vespa showrooms and the Aprilia showrooms, and you will get all the info that you need for these vehicles. And the final news from the two-wheeler realm is that of the helmets. Finally, you can buy helmets like these again. If you remember, a couple of years ago, the BIS basically sent out a ruling saying that you cannot sell any helmets that are above 1.2 kilos in weight. And that essentially meant that all these international helmet brands like Arai, Shoei, and a lot more, the imports had to be stopped immediately, and the sale had to be stopped immediately. But now that ruling has been taken off, there is no weight restriction, is what we hear right now. But yeah, it has to be ISI compliant. But if you have read enough about this topic, you would know that the ISI regulation is something that these helmets need to comply with. They don't necessarily need to undergo any tests. But tomorrow, if the government turns around and asks a particular helmet brand or a dealer or a distributor if the helmet is ISI proof or not, and whether they can prove it or not, they should be able to essentially prove that it meets all the regulations set in place by the ISI. That is essentially what it means. It doesn't have to necessarily go through a testing process for the ISI certification before it can go on sale in India, which is a very good thing, because most of these international brands that are equipped with .EC and SNEL certifications will hopefully comply with most ISI norms as well, or all of the ISI norms, and probably even exceed them. So if you've been waiting to get yourself an official helmet, a bigger brand like an Arai or a Shoei or any of these from your dealers, get in touch with your dealers. They are now allowed to sell them again. So that, I think, wraps
Rohit,
up
I have
all
a
the
point.
two-wheeler news. Yes,
I have a point to make over here. I think we'll come back to you with this information as well. But I do believe this will not be as easy as as you make it sound to be, because simply because a lot of these imported helmet manufacturers don't have a presence in India as of yet. There have been challenges in the past, and where the interest level, because the numbers are still very, very small. Whether it's Arai or Shoei, the numbers are still very, very small for them to show a keen interest in doing something here in this market. And most of these are importers who are bringing these helmets, who are importing these helmets from Europe or from the US. And this becomes a challenge because it means that the onus is on those importers to certify or rather get the certification or prove the worthiness of those helmets, or if they conform to ISI norms. And I think there will still be a bit of a challenge over it. It's a bit of a gray area. I wouldn't entirely dismiss the thing that the thought that these helmets will now be easier to buy in India. I think there's still going to be some challenges and some roadblocks that will be thrown their way. Let's see how this pans out. We will have some information for you on this space pretty soon. We are talking to a few of these importers to understand what exactly are the legalities around here and what are the kind of roadblocks that they will be facing in bringing these helmets down to India.
Right. So I think, Bert, that wraps up all the news. So now we can get back to our Q&A. So yeah, we have one on the screen. Any news about the CBR 650 BS6? Like I said, every week there's a new BS6 vehicle coming out from Honda. Interestingly, this week there was none, but the CBR 650 is definitely coming in our BS6 avatar. It will be slightly pricier as well. I'm expecting, I think it will be close to 9.5 to 10 lakh rupees on road is what I'm hearing right now. But yeah, we will have information on that soon, and there will be a CBR 650 BS6 coming in the next month or so.
Rohit, any chance on driving the new BMW M2 competition? I don't think so. Unfortunately, you can see Rohit's got a sad face right there, but no, the car is not available as of yet. BMW India hasn't capitalized on those models for India. It's still some time away. But yeah, once that car comes down to India, we definitely will get you a drive story on that car, Eddie. Though in the meantime, we are definitely trying to get our hands on some other specifications, some other cars from BMW M Fold. Like I said, keep watching our space, keep watching overdrive.in as well as CNBC, and you will have some information over there. Akshay, hi team, hope you're doing well. Any idea if or when does Volkswagen plan to launch the new Vento, aka Volkswagen Virtus in India, given the fact the current one has been in India since the past 10 years? And Volkswagen India has no plans to launch the Virtus in India. I don't think there is anything immediate. The immediate focus for them is, of course, getting the Taygun down, the compact SUV, which I believe would be delayed now for a little while longer because, again, of the lockdown and the issues that it has presented to most manufacturers. So there will be some delays in that aspect. But the focus is essentially going to be on getting that slew of SUVs out, and once that is done, probably post that we might see some developments on a new Vento. You want to take that, Rohit?
Yes, so like we mentioned earlier in the show, so once this show is over, definitely do rewind and watch this again. August 7th is when the vehicle will be revealed. The bookings will be opened right after, and it will be around the same price as the corresponding Hyundai Venue variant. So they're going to match Hyundai's pricing, probably to the last decimal this time around, because the strategies worked brilliantly well for the Kia Seltos as well, and that they'll try something similar with the Sonet. And the Sonet will have a few headlining features, something that we'll hopefully know on the run-up to the launch on August 7th.
Why don't Skoda and Volkswagen bring hybrid models to India? Well, they were considering bringing a hybrid Passat, if I'm not mistaken, in the past, but it really didn't materialize. And that's also because the price point for these cars goes into a space where then Volkswagen will have to compete with larger, bigger, more prestigious German brands like Mercedes-Benz or BMW or Audi for that matter. So it really didn't make sense. Consumer choices at those price points effectively veer towards the premium brands and not towards what Volkswagen has to offer or what Skoda would have to offer for that matter. So it becomes a bit of a challenge to get down hybrids in that space, especially ones that are expensive. But having said that, there could be possibilities in the future for these manufacturers to offer hybrid powertrains. It is the way to. There will definitely be some movement in this space, at least until the electrics come down to India. So let's hope. Let's see if these hybrids come down, and all we can do is just wait and watch.
Right. What about the Citroën C5? So yeah, we drove that car last year. The review is already up on the OVERDRIVE website and the YouTube channel, so definitely do take a look. When is it coming to India? It was scheduled for a September launch, but now we hear that Citroën could actually postpone their launch to 2021, given the current scenario of the market, because ideally a new brand wouldn't want to launch when the market is sort of so grim right now, and they may not have the kind of launch sales that it would want for a car like the C5. So I'm guessing it will be early 2021 when the market sort of recovers a little bit more, and then Citroën might launch the car. The price point is between 20 to 30 lakh rupees. That's the target that they have right now. So essentially, they want to target premium European cars like the T-Roc and the Skoda Karoq. So essentially, that is the price bracket that Citroën is looking for with the C5.
Rohit, any chance for a Honda Forza?
I think the Forza is already here, if I'm not wrong. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but Honda has a maxi scooter, a premium maxi scooter that is already launched in the country. It's already available with the dealers. They have not officially talked about the pricing, if I'm not wrong. Pardon my ignorance again on this particular model, but I believe they have a maxi scooter, and it is the Forza 300, if I'm not wrong.
How is the NVH level of
XL6? I'll take that word. So yeah, I've driven that car quite a bit. It's not very different from the Ertiga, but now there is no diesel. It's only petrol. So by nature, the petrol powertrain is a lot more refined than the DDIS diesel that powered the Ertiga. So yeah, in terms of cabin noise insulation, it is quite good. In fact, even road noise insulation is quite good. The tires aren't very fat either, so you don't have a lot of tire noise coming in from them. And the overall NVH levels are actually quite good. So if you're looking at a premium MPV in that particular price bracket, it is still one of the best buys out there.
So Rohit, just to come back to your Honda Forza, I just did a quick check on the website, and HMSI does not list anything out there at this point in time. So I'm assuming it's not there.
Right, it's not listed officially, and Honda has not officially spoken about it, but the Honda Wing World dealerships did take a few bookings for a maxi scooter, and also delivered a few to do like a test run of how the customer is reacting to it. And so it wasn't a typical customer clinic kind of a thing. They actually sold and delivered a few models, and I think it was the Forza 300. But yeah, there's no official launch that has happened as of yet, but Honda confirms that they will have a powerful maxi scooter in the lineup before the end of this year. So I'm guessing it will be the Forza 300. Rahul Srinivasan is asking us, in the budget of 30 lakh, would you suggest the Skoda Superb Sportline? In fact, that's a car that I drove last week. I think it looks gorgeous. The reason I'm talking about the looks first up is because well, when you say Sportline, at least for me, I was expecting a sportier performance, but what the Sportline essentially is a more sportier looking Superb. In terms of equipment, it is exactly similar to that of the LNK. There is no additional equipment or any additional electronics that you can get in the Sportline. So it's essentially the design that you're signing up for. But, astonishingly enough, it is priced cheaper than the LNK, a significant 3 lakh rupees cheaper than the LNK. It looks gorgeous. It handles quite well despite its big size. And that new 2-liter TSI engine is a stonker of a motor. If you remember with the previous Superb, it was actually the diesel that was quicker than the petrol 1.8. But the new 2.0 is now quicker than that earlier diesel. It is punchier, it is more powerful. And even in terms of range, it is fairly good in terms of the range because it's quite fuel efficient too for the kind of size it is. So overall, I am very impressed with the product, and I'm very impressed with Skoda's strategy of making sure that all their driver-centric cars are priced very well. We saw that with the Rapid TSI as well, and they've done the same thing with the Skoda Superb Sportline. So if you have that budget and if you want to still invest in sedans, welcome to the love for sedans, and definitely get yourself that Superb Sportline.
Gokul Agarwal has a question. In fact, I was just looking at the YouTube feed and I saw this question over there. Car curtains, are they legal or illegal? Car curtains are illegal. Anything that you put that will impede vision into your cars is illegal. Having said that, there is a new set of regulations coming up, or at least new notifications that have come up in the CMVR, where the visibility that's allowed inside a car, I think, has been increased to about 50%. You can read that story on the OVERDRIVE website as well. And pretty soon, Bob will have a column coming out on that, also talking about this and various other changes that have been made in the CMVR. Yeah, there are the car curtains itself are illegal unless they provide a fair amount of visibility inside the car. Some of the manufacturers who offer those screens in their cars, keep in mind there is a fair amount of visibility through them. Those are ventilated, or at least they're vented in the sense so that you can see inside the cars. It does not block out vision entirely. Nihar Agarwal, can I apply seat covers on my BMW 5 Series and X1? Is it safe? If not, any alternative? Well, Nihar, I do believe you can apply seat covers onto your BMW 5 Series or X1 for that matter. This will not affect the airbags, at least not the frontal ones. No issues from there. But the side airbags, yes, depends on how thick and how much of the movement for the airbags would they obstruct. There could be issues. We're not sure what those are. This is something that we'll have to explore and come back to you on. Is there any other alternative at this point in time? Well, there isn't an alternative to this, but like I said, we will come back to you with this answer. Is the new 2020 version of the Gurkha coming this year? I don't think there is a version of the Gurkha coming out this year. So far, Force Motors has not mentioned anything about getting a new version of the Gurkha yet. We saw some fantastic modifications done at the Auto Expo on the Force Gurkha models there, but there is nothing that's coming out this year. Anything and everything that has to come will only be available next year. There will be some upgrades for sure, but that's largely to do with the powertrain, and that's going to be available in any case at their dealerships. But is a full new version coming out? Not anytime soon. Is that all? Are we done with the questions for today?
I'm just taking a look at the questions. If there is anything that's interesting.
Well, there's a question from Karthik Neluri who wants to know if the Creta SX Petrol or Honda City ZX, which one to buy, which is your pick. Karthik, just to tell you this, I mean, the Creta and the Honda City, of course, two different segments. We can't really compare them here. It's a choice between a SUV or a sedan. It depends on what you want. The SUV, of course, there's a lot more practical, solutions for that it offers to its consumers. The Honda City, on the other hand, let's not forget, fantastic premium product. That nameplate has been in the country for well over almost about 3 decades now. So I think that's one part. That's one of the reasons it's so appealing, also because of the quality, the performance, the efficiency that it has offered. So I think that's where the Honda City, scores very strongly. But I can't really compare it against the Creta and tell you which of these two is the better choice. That will entirely depend on what your requirements are.
Right, I'm going to take this one question that we have about Aprilia on the SXR 160. He wants to know when will the SXR 160 be launched. So the launch was scheduled for August, but now we are told that it has been postponed to October. So it's around the festive, right in between the festive season, where Piaggio will launch the SXR 160. And in terms of the pricing, we are expecting it to be priced about 15 to 20,000 rupees more expensive than the equivalent SR 160. So depending on wherever you're buying it, it will be about 15 to 20,000 rupees more expensive than the regular SR. So you also have the SR 125. Similarly, you're going to have a SXR 125 as well. So the 125 and the 160 are two variants that they will have, and both will be about 15 to 20,000 rupees more expensive than their SR corresponding SR variants. We also have some questions about when are we going to review the Karoq, when are we going to review the BS6 Ninja 650 and the Z650. Well, the Ninjas and the Z650 we will still have to wait. Kawasaki is still in the process of rolling out test drive vehicles or test ride models to the dealerships. Not all dealerships have them yet. And hopefully, once all of that is settled, once all the dealerships are running in full swing and we have a clear idea of where the lockdowns are, how things are going, once all of that is clear, then we will have a clearer idea of when we'll have the vehicles. Similarly, we are also waiting to ride the Husqvarnas. They are stuck in the same zone in Pune, or Pimpri Chinchwad for that matter, out of where both Kawasaki and Husqvarna operate. So, yeah, we're waiting for clearer norms to come through, for the conditions to get safer. And once that happens, we'll have our hands on these vehicles. As for the Karok, the vehicle is still not registered, and which is why we are choosing not to drive it until it is registered and until it has all the documents in place, because we don't want to be on the wrong side of the law for anything. So once that happens, we will drive the car extensively and we'll have a detailed review in video, text, and magazine format for you to take a look at.
All right, I think we can call it a day. Rohit, I think that's all. I don't. Are we taking any
Right, I
more
think.
questions?
No, I think this is it. I
Someone
think let's
wants
take
to.
a last question. Someone wants to know Audi Q2 versus Volkswagen T-Roc. We're ideally very similar vehicles, very similar in spec as well, but we haven't driven the Q2. So till we drive it,
I
we don't
have.
want to comment.
I
Oh
have.
yes, both has actually.
I
But
have.
why don't we end with this question then? Why don't you
But I
tell
love the
us?
Q2. I love the Q2, and given a choice, yes, any day, I think the Q2 is the car to go in for. Stylish, phenomenally good looking. I mean, the kind of design and the styling that Audi has applied on that car is just phenomenal. Yeah, it's great to look at. It's got fantastic powertrain options. It's a good car all across, to enjoy for that matter. Nicely packaged as well. Having said that, I mean, for that packaging, it is definitely going to be expensive. But yes, I mean that is the car to have. There were a lot of rumors in between about the Q2 coming down to India, and is that going to be launched, and what's going to happen over there. From what I understand, no, the Q2 is still quite some time away. Nothing too soon. Just hold on to your horses. Don't jump the gun. The Q2 isn't coming anytime soon. There is still a long way for that to go.
Right, so I think that's it. Let's wrap it up right here, Bert.
At
And
7 o'clock.
before we go, we are going to leave you with visuals of the stories that are coming up on the Overdrive TV show tomorrow. So definitely do catch up on the Overdrive TV show at 1 p.m. on CNBC TV 18, and there'll be a repeat telecast on Sunday as
Rohit,
well.
before we
Yes, Bert.
sorry to interrupt you, but before we kind of switch off over here, I'd like to also inform our viewers that Overdrive is now available. The magazine is has gone into print some weeks
Yes.
ago. That is available on newsstands. That's you can also purchase that from our website. Or you can also get the digital copy over there. So just log on to overdrive.in. You will see indicators leading you up to that purchase. So do go out there, get the magazine out, like I've mentioned earlier on some of the live videos as well. See what we have to offer. There's a wealth of stories in there. We'd like you to read those and give us your feedback. Come back to us with any questions that you have as well. But yes, definitely go out and see what we've done, the work and effort that we've put into into the July 2020 issue.
Right. So I think that's it then, Bert. Let's say our goodbyes to our viewers for today, and we will join you again next week, next Friday, 6 p.m. The live show is 6 p.m. every Friday. It will not happen earlier. So no 5 o'clock, no 5:05, no 5:30. It is 6 p.m. sharp on Friday. So do tune in again, and we'll leave you with visuals of what is coming up on the Overdrive show on CNBC TV channel tomorrow. Take a look.